Hello everyone, it's Wednesday, December 4th. It is about 13 minutes before the U.S. equity markets close at 4 p.m. here on the East Coast. Thank you very much for watching. This is Lee McMahon with the Daily Moving Average video. I'm going to be running through a lot of the news we had today, very busy day. Talk about some of the reactions, what we can expect going into a very busy end of the week. So, please take a moment to look over the risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen. Then we'll go to the charts. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the yen pairs here. We had a pretty aggressive sell-off here in yen pairs, starting really yesterday, I think, maybe even the day before. So we're starting to correct a little bit in yen pairs. Okay, you can see that's pound yen, dollar yen broke out of its long-standing channel about a month long retest. It's retesting it right now. Euro yen. Another move lower today, bouncing off that 50 period right now, starting to get back up into its resistance range. CAD yen really sold off today, came down, touched, retested that triangle, bouncing. Still looks pretty bearish here off that channel break. Next major support is about 95. Major resistance 96.24. Move below 95 would really open it up for a move down towards 93, and then 92.30. Nikkei, okay, you can see similar, sold off, bouncing a little bit here. Again, still looks bearish coming out of this wedge breakdown. It looks like it's just going to start a slow grind lower. Major resistance 155.26, and then the wedge retest up here about 15.725. So keep an eye on that. E-minis trying to close green, up about 3 points after being down 12-ish or so on the day. 1780, bounce off of that level there. Very possible that what we're seeing here, so we have this wedge break, and now maybe we're forming a right shoulder here, which would place this neckline at about 1775, 1770 area. So look for E-minis maybe to roll over and head lower tonight and into tomorrow. Of course, we have a ton of data coming out at the end of the week. We had a bunch today. ADP numbers better than expected. One of the previews for NFPs, okay, about 200 or so, 212 maybe, over 174 expected. We had PMI numbers out of Spain and Italy. They split. Spain better than expected. Italy a little bit worse. Well, actually a lot of it worse than expected. UK services PMI also missed. First PMI miss out of the UK for a while. Still posted a 60, which is really solid. So really not much to get worried about in terms of the UK, but it was slightly less than expected. And now, then we had U.S. ISM numbers. Those were weaker than expected. Employment component remained in expansionary levels, just started to slow a little bit. But ISM, Institute for Service Management, or whatever it is, they came out with the statement that they are pretty optimistic about hiring. They think that it's a end-of-the-year timing issue more than anything with the softer number. So not really anything to get the market that worried. In regards to Friday's NFP number, and then the eventual taper discussion that I'm sure we'll be seeing as we approach the Fed meeting middle of this month. Euro dollar, okay. We actually now finally have a very nice range in euro dollar. Very clean support, 135.20. Pretty nice resistance area at about 136 ahead of the ECB tomorrow. So basically just look to play this range, all right? This upside level at 136, again, sitting at a very important 618% fib. Okay, so I do think if we start to see a move over 136, we're going to start picking up a lot of stops up towards 137. Could be a very fast, aggressive move. At the same time, I suspect we're seeing some stops accumulate here below these lows. We held it twice. I'm guessing that's a pretty nice spot to put your stops if you wanted to get long. So either side of this market, especially if we see it go up and down once more before ECB, which we do have enough time beforehand for it to reasonably make a sort of round trip. we'll start to see some real stops accumulate. We could be in for a very aggressive move post ECB. Expected to leave rates on hold. I would be surprised if we saw another cut, but I was surprised when they cut at the last meeting, so I would not be the first time that they caught me by surprise. So we'll have to see how that shakes out, but the press conference and market commentary is going to be more important. Pound dollar, kind of just chopping around up here. If we keep chopping around, it might be a nice flag type buy. Remember, we do the Bank of England tomorrow. It's usually a dud, so unless they release a statement, probably just see a little bit of activity and then nothing else. So keep your eye on pound for the possibility for some sort of flag. Aussie looks kind of bearish here, but I'm still hoping that we see a rally out towards 93 to sell. Kiwi is just obnoxious. It's not doing anything. You can see it just chopping. Hard to break down. Can't really get above this level here. All right, 82.64. Some of the crosses. Euro Kiwi still looks pretty good to me. Looks like it's sort of forming a little inverse head and shoulders here. 166 being the level that it needs to break with conviction to continue on higher. Pound Kiwi. All right, you could argue trendline retest here. This is a really ugly chart. Let me delete some of this. All right, holding this area right around 198.65 to 199 or so. Holding it pretty well. Could see it accelerate higher from there. Dollar CAD and the other CAD crosses. We did have the Bank of Canada today. They kept rates on hold as expected, unchanged 1%. The one thing that they did say is we started to see them mutter a little bit about deflationary concerns, which is new. If they're concerned about deflation, both active deflation, but also more just the lack of inflation staying below their 2% target, that could spark another rate cut. All right, I don't think we're there yet. 3 or 4 or 5 months out, though, maybe. All right, so we breached 107. We're pulling back now. Generally speaking, I like the CAD crosses higher. Dollar CAD, Pound CAD, Euro CAD. Okay, all look good for higher. On the other hand, Aussie CAD, pretty nice hold here as well. Aussie CAD is another really nice range. 96 to the downside, about 97.70 to the upside. Could watch that for a breakout as well. If we do see the Aussie rally, actually playing it on Aussie CAD rather than Aussie dollar might be a really good idea, and it may eliminate some of the shenanigans we'll see going into the end of the week with NFPs on Friday. So that's what I would be keeping an eye on going into the overnight session. Definitely be watching these yen pairs and the Nikkei. All right, that's where the action's going to be. If we see the Nikkei continue to sell off, major support is 15,000. We could get there like very, very quickly. Nikkei can move, as you can see from back here in May. When it moves, it moves. So keep your eye out for something similar after this wedge break. You start to see a waterfall lower. 15,000 support. If we do see that, it will drag the yen pairs down with it kicking and screaming. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Keep your eye on that going into the end of the week, and I'll be talking to you guys soon.